Okay, in this video we're going to do some more volume. This time we're going to talk about pyramids, cones, and spheres. This is the little more challenging volume. So first let's talk about what is a pyramid, a cone, or a sphere. First, a cone. A cone is a solid 3D figure with a circular base. Think about an ice cream cone. It's got a pointed end, and it goes up to have a round circular top. A pyramid is a solid 3D figure with one base that is a polygon, and then lateral faces that are triangles. When we talk about lateral faces, we're talking about the sides of a figure that does not include the base. There's three different shapes of pyramids that we'll talk about. Square-based pyramids, rectangular-based pyramids, or triangular-based pyramids. And then spheres, a solid 3D figure with every surface the same distance from the center. Think about a ball. Okay, so in this video, cones, pyramids, spheres. Okay, so let's look at just what is the basic formula for these. So we're still going to talk about big B, little h, only this time cones, it's 1/3 of big B, little h. Remember, big B stands for the area of the base. So in a cone, when we say big B, little h, we're talking about 1/3 pi r squared h, because that area of the base is a circle. So 1/3 of a circle times the height of the figure. In a sphere is the only one that doesn't use big B, little h. The sphere you just have to remember, and it's 4/3 pi r cubed. It doesn't follow the rule. Only one that doesn't follow the rule is a sphere. Then we have our three pyramids. It does go back to big B, little h, and it uses the 1/3. Rectangular pyramid is 1/3 length times width times height. Remember, rectangle, we did length times width. Square pyramid, it does 1/3 side squared height. Remember, square, all the sides are the same length. And a triangular pyramid, it is 1/3, 1/2 base times height times height. Why is it 1/3 of the base times the height? Well, when we go to these pointed tops up here, it takes away about 1/3 of the area, or the volume. So if we took let's say a can, and we took an ice cream cone that were the exact same height, and I filled them both up with water, I could put exactly 1/3 of the amount inside the cone that I could put inside of the can. So by simply going to this point, I'm taking away 1/3 of the volume. So keep in mind, a can's going to look like this. So if I went inside of it, when I do this point up here, instead of having that, when I do this, I've taken away exactly 1/3 of it. We could do one of our irregular figures and figure out the shaded part, and by taking that out, you'd find 1/3 is your difference. So again, most of these follow the big B, little h rule, just multiplied by 1/3, with the exception of a sphere. So let's work some examples. We're going to start with the sphere since it uses the different rule. Okay, so here we have our ball. I gave you the diameter of 14 centimeters. Well, remember, diameter is twice the radius. So if the diameter is 14, the radius would be 7. Our formula, again, is 4/3 pi r cubed. So 7 cubed times pi, take 4/3 of it. 7 cubed is 343. When we multiply the rest of that through, we get 1,436.76. So I want you to round it to the nearest whole number for these examples today. So we get 1,437 centimeters cubed. We're still talking about volume, so our units are still going to be cubed because we're multiplying three things. Let's do another one. This time I gave you the radius, so we don't have to divide it in half. We're still using the same formula, 4/3 pi r cubed. So we did 5 cubed, which was 125. If I multiply that by 4/3, I get 500 thirds times pi. Keep multiplying it. 523.60. Round it to the nearest whole number. 524 centimeters cubed. So regardless of how you work it through, just make sure. Remember, 4 times 125 gives you 500, and then I can divide it. Then I multiplied by pi divided by 3. Either way, you just want to make sure you're doing all the work. So volume of a sphere, 4/3 pi r cubed. Make sure you do all the steps. All right, now, the rest of ours are going to use the 1/3 big B little h. So we're looking at some cones. And I gave you the radius, I gave you the height. So we're going to use 1/3 big B little h. So I'm going to do pi r squared because that's our area of the base. Had a radius of 8, so pi times 8 squared times a height of 12 divided out by 1/3. And again, I kind of solved it in terms of pi first and then kept moving. So 64 times 12 pi, gave me 768 divided by 1/3, 256 pi. Then once I multiply my pi through, 804.26, take it to the nearest whole number, I got 804, again, centimeters cubed, because I'm multiplying three things. 2 times this plus 1 times this. Our pi doesn't really give us another piece, and of course dividing by the third doesn't affect us. Here, gave you the diameter, so you need to make sure you divide by 2 and use the radius. If we change it, it is going to drastically affect the value that you get. So again, 1/3 big B little h, or pi r squared h, divided by 3 at the end. Multiply it all through, we get 500 pi. Multiply it by pi, 1570.8, round it up, 1571 centimeters squared. So with volume, just like with the easier ones, once you know this formula, it's pretty easy to just plug in all your numbers and then multiply. Just make sure you don't leave out any of the steps. All right, so let's look at a few pyramids, and then we'll be done with this volume for right now. All right, so first, this one, and you'll have to excuse my drawings, this one is a rectangular pyramid, and you know that because the base is a rectangle, and although you can't necessarily tell that from my drawing, you can see the sides. The length is 8 and the width is 9. So, volume, again, 1/3 big B little h. So I did 1/3 length times width times height. 8 times 9 times 5 times 1/3 left us with, whoops, erased, 120 feet cubed. So again, rectangular pyramid. Notice your height has to come right down the middle. If it had been out here on one of these, that's what we call the slant height. So you have to be really careful that your height is going straight down the middle of your pyramid. It needs to form a right angle with the floor of the pyramid. Okay, this one is a square pyramid. And you know that because the base is a square, denoted by the fact that all the sides are 6. 1/3 big B little h. So I did 1/3 6 squared times 7. 1/3 36 times 7, 84 feet squared. And then we have our last one, a triangular pyramid. We had a base of 12 and a height of 9, and then the height of my pyramid is 10. All of these are in centimeters. So this time we do 1/3 big B little h. This is 1/3 times 1/2 base times height. Make sure you solve your triangle first. So we did 1/2 of 12 times 9, or 12 times 9 divided by 2. Then multiply it times 10, which gave you 540. Then you can divide by 3. So those are your volume formulas for cones, spheres, and pyramids.